Hey everyone, ready to ditch that whole productivity grind and actually feel good about, getting things done.
Well, it's not some kind of fantasy. It's really science.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
You guys provided some really intriguing excerpts from Ali Abdal's book, The Paradox of Effortless Productivity. A surgeon turned productivity guru. That's pretty interesting to me.
Right. It's interesting that Abdal's medical background uh, actually adds a really fascinating layer here. He doesn't just preach about these productivity hacks. He's actually breaking down the science behind feeling good and how that can unlock our potential.
I love that. So no more just pushing through exhaustion. Tell me more about this.
So the book kind of revolves around three key concepts. There's energizers, blockers, and sustainers.
Mm.
So think of these energizers as those activities or mindsets that actually fuel your focus and creativity, while blockers, well, they do just what they sound like.
Yeah.
And sustainers are all about maintaining that feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction in the long run.
Okay, so today we're tackling one of the most powerful energizers, which is play. And something tells me this isn't about scheduling, more video game breaks into your workday.
Definitely not. We're talking about rediscovering that childlike sense of curiosity and joy, and actually applying it to our work. When you get that aha feeling when you crack a really tough problem,
Mm-hmm.
that's your brain on play.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But how does that actually work in practice?
So remember the story of Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist,
Hmm.
and his fascination with a wobbling plate in the cafeteria.
Okay, I'm picturing a very serious scientist contemplating, physics over a plate of cafeteria food.
Okay.
How's play fit in?
So what's really fascinating is that Feynman was actually in a creative rut at the time. And this wasn't just any plate, it became this source of playful exploration for him. And he started toying with these equations just for the sheer joy of figuring out the physics behind why the plate was wobbling.
Wait, so he stumbled upon a groundbreaking physics concept while just goofing off in the cafeteria.
Exactly. What he thought was like a meaningless distraction actually reignited his passion for physics and even contributed to his Nobel Prize winning work.
Wow.
Yeah, it turns out those unproductive moments of play are actually crucial for unlocking our creativity and focus.
That's incredible. So it's not about goofing off instead of working. It's about bringing that playful energy to our work.
Exactly. And the science backs this up. Studies show that play reduces stress, boosts creativity, and even helps us retain information better.
Wow, sign me up. But how do we actually tap into that playful energy, especially when we're facing a really daunting to-do list?
Yeah. It's about approaching our work with a sense of adventure, like we did as children. Remember how a cardboard box could become a spaceship fueled only by imagination?
Hmm.
Abdal delves into different play personalities. Are you a collector, a kinesthete, a joker, or perhaps a storyteller?
So it's about identifying what naturally energizes us and then finding ways to infuse that into our work. I love that.
Yeah, and it's not about forcing ourselves to be someone we're not. It's just about recognizing our innate tendencies and leveraging them to our advantage. Like, for instance, if you're a collector, maybe you thrive on gathering information and connecting ideas. So how can you approach a research-heavy task with that same curiosity and excitement?
This is making me think about all those times I felt stuck. And maybe it was because I wasn't tapping into my natural play personality.
It's definitely something to consider. And it actually reminds me of this fascinating study that Abdal mentions, where scientists discovered that rats actually laugh when you tickle them.
Wait, laughing rats. I have so many questions. I'm guessing this isn't just a cute animal fact.
You know me too well. This highlights something really crucial, and that is that joy isn't just this fleeting emotion. It's actually a primal instinct.
Hmm.
And, it triggers dopamine, that feel-good hormone, which plays a vital role in, motivation and focus.
So if we can find ways to trigger that dopamine rush in our work, we're essentially hacking our brains for productivity.
Exactly. Abdal talks about this really interesting concept called the magic post-it note experiment.
Hmm.
Basically, researchers found that people were much more likely to complete a boring task if they were given small, unexpected rewards along the way.
Okay, so injecting a little like magic into those mundane tasks, how do we actually, do that? Should I start hiding candy around my desk?
Well, that could be one approach. But Abdal really focuses on something uh, even more powerful, and that's shifting our focus from the outcome to the process itself.
Yeah, I've heard that before, like, enjoy the journey, not just the destination.
Yeah.
But honestly, when I'm like staring down a looming deadline, it's kind of hard to think about anything but the outcome.
Oh, absolutely. It's way
Hmm.
easier said than done. Right. That's why Abdal actually shares this great story about Matthew Dix. He's a world champion storyteller who used to work at McDonald's.
McDonald's, that feels like a world away from, captivating audiences with stories.
Right. Talk about a seemingly mundane job.
Mhm.
But Dix actually found ways to make even that experience enjoyable. He'd set these mini challenges for himself, like trying to upsell as many customers as possible on barbecue sauce.
Oh, so he like gamified his work. That's actually kind of brilliant.
Exactly. You see, it wasn't about the barbecue sauce itself. It was about finding a way uh, to inject a little, playfulness and challenge into the process. And by doing that, he actually tapped into this really powerful state of mind that psychologists call um, flow state.
A flow state, like
Yeah,
being in the zone where like you're so absorbed in what you're doing that time just seems to disappear.
precisely. And research has shown that experiencing flow isn't just about feeling good. It's also associated with increased productivity and creativity. Abel suggests that to tap into this flow state, we can try, setting ourselves these mini challenges within our work, just like Dix did, or even something as simple as like limiting distractions by putting our phones away or creating a dedicated workspace.
Okay, those are some really like practical tips. I'm definitely like I'm definitely guilty of letting my phone, steal my focus. This is reminding me of that rat study that Abdal mentioned, where restricting their movement actually like decreased their playful behavior.
It makes sense, right? I mean, stress and playfulness, they don't really mix. When we're stressed, our brains basically go into survival mode, and there's not much room um, for creativity or joy.
Yeah, definitely. But how do we combat that, especially when like work itself can be, a major source of stress?
Well, Abdal argues that one of the most effective ways to kind of lower the stakes and invite more playfulness into our work is by reframing how we actually view failure.
That's easier said than done, right? We're
Yeah.
constantly like bombarded with these messages about success and achievement. Yeah.
Absolutely. But what if instead of fearing failure, we viewed it as valuable data? Abel talks about this fascinating coding experiment that was conducted by former NASA engineer Mark Rober. The participants were given this coding challenge, and some of them received the message, "You have failed,"
Hmm.
upon making a mistake, while others got the message, "You have failed. You've lost 5 points."
Okay, I see where this is going. Same error message, but one group was like penalized. I bet that really impacted like their
You
performance.
bet. The group that received the penalty message actually made significantly fewer attempts to solve the puzzle,
Hmm.
and it just highlights how much our perception of failure influences our willingness to experiment and persevere.
Yeah, it's like that fear of like losing points just holds us back from, taking risks and exploring those new possibilities.
Precisely,
Yeah.
and that's where Abdal's point about reframing failure comes in.
Yeah.
If we can, we can learn to see those mistakes as opportunities for learning and growth, as valuable data points on our path to mastery. We open ourselves up to this whole new level of creativity and innovation.
Yeah, it's like that classic quote, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about shifting from a serious to a sincere approach.
Mm.
Abdal, he quotes Alan Watts here, who said, "Don't be serious, be sincere."
Oh, I love that. It's about bringing our full attention and effort to the task at hand without getting bogged down by that fear of judgment or the need to be, perfect.
Exactly. It's about embracing the process,
Yeah.
mistakes and all. And this actually ties into another really crucial aspect of feel-good productivity that Abdel highlights, and that is taking ownership. He shares this amusing anecdote about a software developer who actually automated his own job and got fired for it.
Okay, that's kind of hilarious, but I'm guessing there's a deeper lesson here.
Absolutely. This developer who went by the username FiletOffice1066 on Reddit was was stuck in this this mind-numbingly boring job. So he decided to take matters into his own hands, and he spent months writing code to automate his tasks.
Wow, so he basically found a way to hack his job to make it more, more enjoyable or at least, less tedious.
Exactly. While I wouldn't recommend his particular approach, it does speak to our innate human desire um, for autonomy and control. Abdal emphasizes that even when we can't control, the entire situation, we can find ways to own the how of our work.
That really resonates with me. It's about, finding those pockets of autonomy and making those conscious choices, even if they're small. It's about just about shifting from like I have to do this to I choose to do this.
You've hit the nail on the head. Abdal calls this the choose to mindset, and he even applies it to his to his experiences as a doctor. He shares a story about feeling resentful for having to like stay late to put in an IV line, but then he overhears a patient expressing gratitude for the care she's receiving, and it just sparks this shift in his thinking.
Wow, it's amazing how a simple shift in perspective can completely transform our experience.
Absolutely. You see, he couldn't control the situation itself, but he could control his mindset about it. And guess what? There's actually research to support this. Abdal cites a study where simply asking people to reflect on choices they'd made recently actually led them to rate themselves as physically stronger and more capable.
Wow, just reflecting on our choices can have like that kind of impact. That's wild. It really like highlights how much our mindset really shapes our reality.
Absolutely. And it all kind of ties back to this idea of self-determination theory that Abdal brings up. It emphasizes the power of intrinsic motivation, that drive that comes from within because we find something, personally meaningful or enjoyable. And a key ingredient of that intrinsic motivation is, you guessed it, feeling a sense of autonomy.
So even if we can't control like every single aspect of our work, finding ways to make those conscious choices about how we approach a task, how we manage our time, or even just how we frame our thoughts, that can make a huge difference.
Exactly. It's like we're tapping into this like hidden reserve of energy and motivation. And this reminds me of Viktor Frankl's work. He was an Austrian psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, and he wrote extensively about how even in like the most horrific circumstances, we always have the freedom to choose our attitude.
That's such a powerful message. It speaks to the resilience of like the human spirit and our ability to find meaning and purpose even in the face of adversity.
Absolutely. And that's what I find so inspiring about this whole concept of feel good productivity.
Hmm.
It's not about denying the challenges or pretending that work is always easy or fun. It's about cultivating that inner strength and resilience that allows us to navigate the ups and downs with more grace, with more joy, and yeah, even a bit of that playful curiosity that we were talking about earlier.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive into feel good productivity, what's one key takeaway you're hoping our listener is walking away with today?
You have more power than you think. You have the power to cultivate confidence, to embrace that beginner's mind, to find the fun in those unexpected places, and to choose your attitude, even when things get tough. And remember those play personalities we discussed earlier. Tap into yours.
Beautifully said. It's a great reminder that work doesn't have to be, a grind. We can choose to approach it with a sense of playfulness, with a sense of purpose, and maybe even like a little laughter along the way. And who knows, we might just unlock our full potential in the process. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, everyone. Keep exploring, keep playing, and keep those feel good vibes flowing.